Hello everyone! Happy Sunday! I'm so happy I'm here live with you. And today I have a guest, not a guest, she is a podcast co host of our podcast on her own terms. And she will be joining soon. So I cannot wait for us to tell you about our podcast once more and also tell you how we listen to podcasts and maybe to our podcast, to any other podcast, to benefit your life with some good information. So just give me a second. Niki is here. Hello, Niki.
Hello,
Hi.
everyone.
Hello. You look so beautiful today, but I've already told you.
Always. Thank you.
How are you today? Hello, everyone. Hi,
Hello.
Lutska. Hi, Obait. So nice to see you today. Oh my God.
Sunday.
How are you, Niki?
All good, all good. How are you?
Yes, amazing today actually. It's super sunny here. I'm in Czech Republic at my parents' house, and it's such a beautiful town full of nature and sun, and I enjoy it so much. Maybe such as in Bali. For some of you that don't know, Nikki is from Bali. She lives in Bali. I mean, not from Bali, but you live in Bali.
Yeah. It's sunny here as well. And today is super sunny and very hot. And that meant that Nero finally got a shower. That's my dog. So he kind of was that today, but at least he smells good.
Nero. Hello, bye.
Podcast.
Sorry, what did you say?
Nero is part of every one of our
Yes.
podcasts with the barking.
Nero is like a mascot of our podcast because every time me and Nikki we record our episode, a new episode of our podcast, Nero is in the background like bah, 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 bah. Or like Nero is chasing a cat or something, It's so funny.
Oh, looking at a squirrel and wanting to play with it.
Yeah.
But the history, there was one episode where he was not present and it was quiet. And I think it's the latest one.
Yeah, that's the latest one. That episode has like the perfect audio. Nothing against Nero. He's such a cute dog. Hello everyone. Hello Tagi. Hi. Okay, guys, so once more, we've decided to go live today to tell you about our new podcast. I mean, it's not new because we have already recorded 11 episodes, right?
I'm so proud of us, yeah. 11 and 12 is in the making, so yeah.
Yeah, me too. We are doing such a good job, and I can feel like the knowing that we are sharing in this podcast is such a good one, and it's like channeled most of the times, And sometimes we finish recording and we are like, where did this information come from? This is so amazing.
I remember one episode where I did a meditation, and after it I was like, I don't even know what words I used in the meditation, but I was like, I don't think about this in my normal life.
Yes. Cleansing chamber.
Yes, cleansing chamber. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so should we start with telling who this podcast is ideal for? Do you want to start, Nikki?
Definitely. I feel it's beneficial for all humans, maybe specifically for women, just because we are both women and we share mostly from our life experience. So it might be a little bit just by the experience, more because we are women as well, for women. And I feel like women who struggle with like the inner critic could benefit from listening to it, because that we both have in common. And it's like definitely something that we want to look at and maybe don't listen to the inner critic as much. And I also know that in the past I actually didn't realize I have such a strong inner critic in my head. It mostly felt like I felt like I wasn't harsh enough on myself. Like I wouldn't push myself too much, and that's why I'm not progressing in life. So actually the opposite is true. My inner critic was super strong, and that's why I couldn't do anything, because I would be just feeling down all the time because I never did enough. And these kind of thoughts were running through my head. So I feel like our podcast will benefit for people that feel the same way, like we did or I did some time ago. Because we kind of look at thoughts that come through our head, and we choose to, or we teach our listeners that we can actually choose what thought you want to believe, right? Do you agree?
Yes. And we can be kinder to ourselves, and we don't have to listen to the inner critic all of the time. And I think this connects me and Niki so well because we have very similar story in the past. I used to work in like a job that was like well paid, and like I thought I have to do it even though I was stressed all the time every day. And like my inner critic was so strong, and he or she was like telling me, oh, you need to push harder and you haven't done it well and you should have done this differently, and you messed up again, and why can you expect to have such good results when you all the time mess up, you know? And this was such a like stressful in my like relationship between me and me, you know. And like in my head I was constantly beating myself up. And I feel like we've went through a journey, me and Niki, both of us, where we learned how to be kinder to ourselves, how to reprogram the voice of the inner critic, how to heal some traumas from the past and from our childhoods, and how to learn principles that help us to come back from this inner listening to our inner critic into like more self-loving, more beneficial approach towards ourselves. And I feel like we share these techniques and tips in our podcast, and they are just like such a huge part of our podcast. You know, in each episode we share how we deal with problems and on different topics.
Yeah. Would you also like to share how is your thinking different, since we are both doing this work, like getting to know ourselves and kind of choosing not to listen to the inner critic? Do you have anything in mind that is like a very specific thought that changed? Like how do you view things now?
Yeah. Okay, so I think a really important thing I learned, or I think, this is my opinion, I think that shame is not very beneficial feeling, and I feel less and less and less of like feelings of shame, because I feel like we were shamed for things, or like for things that we don't do accordingly to society. We are taught to be shamed to change it, you know. And I just unlearned feelings of shame a little bit, and I can notice them, and when they come, I know that yeah, it's okay to be human, and I come back to the love and to myself. And I, you know, this is a big thing for me. And also I kind of like accepted that everything is okay. I don't see that I do mistakes so much as I used to. You know, I would do something, then I would perceive it as something I did wrong, that I did a mistake, and I would beat myself up, and I would not allow myself to receive something that I wanted, because I would be like, oh, you fucked it up, you know, and you should have done it differently. So now I see everything as learning experiences, or I try to. And I know that it's human to make mistakes, and no one is perfect. And even though you see like experts out there, and you might feel like they have it all together, they don't. We are all humans. We all have struggles. So I think this made me realize this. How about you, Niki?
Definitely. Yeah, I would feel like, I think that the first and most important part is that the realization that I don't have to believe the inner critic. Like it's this voice in my head that says like, oh, you don't believe, and oh, this is like, what are you talking about on this live or on this podcast? But I know now that I don't have to listen to this voice. I can choose a thought of like, yeah, I'm doing improving in my speaking skills. I'm putting myself out of the comfort zone, and that is a little bit stressful always. Like that's where the growth happens. So I'm like trying, testing, and rearranging. And as you said, like there is no mistakes. There is experiences that, yeah, teach you how to do things. And also, there was a very profound thought in my head, and I maybe forgot it. So maybe but yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I wanted to share, like, life is happening for us, not to us. I feel like maybe was coming out of the place a lot of like victim, like, oh my gosh, why is this happening again? Like,
Yeah.
what am I
What
doing?
does it mean, right?
Yeah, and yes, and attaching meaning that actions don't have. I would be the one to attach meaning to them. So yeah, it's like a whole bunch of feelings that now the first basic thing is I know I don't have to believe them.
Yeah.
Like that would be like the most important part. Just the realization. I don't have to believe them. And then I'm trying to find another thought that is a little bit better feeling.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, we don't have to believe any thought, you know. And in the past, I thought that there's someone judging me if I live a good life or a bad life. And now I know that I am the only person that is like judging my life, and I can choose any life I want. I will attract more of what I am being, you know, or what I'm projecting. But like I can choose what I want to, you know, be, become, know what I can also like choose the meanings of things. So I can say like,
Yes,
oh, this happened because, you know, like I needed to learn more about this, or I needed to find out that this doesn't work for me, and maybe there is another way for me. You know, this doesn't mean that I fucked up and I'm a bad human. You know, this just means that I'm learning and I'm discovering what I really want, and if this doesn't work for me, I go there. And yeah, this is such a freedom way of thinking, I think.
Definitely. Couldn't have said it better. Such a wonderful thought.
Yeah. I think this is the philosophy of our podcast, and each episode is like linked to this teachings of ours. And I feel like we both are such freedom thinking coaches, and our natural energy is to teach people how to feel like how to live more freely, right? Because you, Niki, you do freedom coaching, I do a health coaching, but also I really believe that health is about like being aligned with our lives and our desires, and you know, living our true best life. Because like if we don't, then something has to show up, for example a disease or a health problem, to stop us, to make us look at our life and rearrange something.
Yeah. I think this is where we resonate most, that we both believe that it's always beneficial if I find out about myself, what do I like, what do I want in life, and do things from that place. And you believe the same. And also about the mindset, like freedom lifestyle coaching and health coaching is essentially about mindset, because everything starts in your head. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I think we kind of answered our question, because I have like, that's sometimes when I look down, I have our questions, and we were talking about like how will our podcast help you, and I think this is what it will help you. This is what will help to our listeners, that kind of to be in the message all the time. If you want to get to know yourself, you maybe will benefit from reminding yourself like, okay, I don't have to believe this in a critic. And maybe you want to be reminded like, oh yes, there are tools that can help me on the way. So what we mostly talk about in class is like, we share our experiences on a certain topic, and then we try to incorporate the tools and practices that helped us overcome it or think about things differently. And yeah, this is where the change happens, like the repetition of the new thing and the tools that can get you there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like if some of our listeners now have this problem, that they have strong inner critic and they tend to beat themselves up and be harsh on themselves, it's a great way, if they really want to create change, then, you know, you need to kind of be in the energy of the different thinking frequently to make change. And you know, I've struggled in the past that I wanted to have a change and I didn't manage to do so, and I really needed to have a mentor in my ear. And I think this is a great way to listen, like each week, if you listen to our episode or to an episode of another podcast that you really like, you will get it into your ear, and you will slowly reprogram even your subconscious mind, and you will start thinking differently. And I think amazing thing about a podcast is that you can like play it on the background of your life, you know, when you're like, for example, cleaning your apartment, or I love listening to my podcast when I go jogging. You know, I love that I can fill up my brain with good information. I get my workout done. I am in nature. You know, there's so many benefits. I just love this time. Niki, where do you listen to podcasts?
Yeah, definitely. I just remember the period of my life when I was painting some room, and I would listen to the whole podcast series while painting to the whole painting the walls of the whole room. That was fun. Um, I even listen to the podcast when I kind of like go to sleep or wake up. When I wake up and I prepare myself for the day, that's the time when I listen. And what was the cleaning? As you said, like cleaning is definitely a very good
Cleaning.
activity to listen to the podcast. Like it's like kind of the best thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, because like the cleaning is not a pleasurable activity for me, you know, so I like to make it nicer by putting my headphones with an episode
Yeah.
of something I want to learn. And in this way, like I focus my attention on the information and I forget that I have to like swipe the floors and, you know, wash the
Yes, yes.
dishes or something.
Yeah. And I remember I don't drive
Absolutely.
that much a car now. I have a motorbike, but when I would drive a car, I would listen to like a podcast, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
audio something. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
all good.
Or I listen to podcasts in like in public transport. So when I go by tram here in Prague, I like put my headphones, listen to podcasts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
or
amazing.
like
Oh,
when you go for
yes, yeah, flying in airplane. Oh my gosh, that's my like all my podcasts are
good
in my ears.
one. Yes, yes, because you don't have internet, so you can like download the podcast episodes offline and you can listen to them later. So it's a
Definitely,
great way
definitely.
also how to save your data.
Yes. Um,
Yeah. Okay, maybe
would
I
you
would
like
like
to
to
follow up?
I would like to share with our listeners where they can find our podcast. Um, you know, because this is yeah, okay. I don't know if you've mentioned it. The name of our podcast is On Her Own Terms. I'm not sure if I mentioned it. If I have, then again, it's the name is
Always.
On Her Own Terms. Yeah. And it's such a good name. And we thought about this name with Niki. And we're like thinking, oh, who this podcast is for. Yeah, it's for women who really wants to build a life accordingly to her own rules, to
Yes.
her own like desires. You know, she's no longer available for living a life that is not truly hers, and she wants to be as happy as possible most of the time, and she wants to be able to process her emotions and all of these things. So we
Yeah,
gave it
yeah.
the name On Her Own Terms. And yeah, you can find our podcast in most of the podcast platforms. At the moment, it's available on Apple Podcast, which is where I listen to it. On Spotify, this is where Niki listens to it.
Yeah,
Everyone has different, different one.
yeah.
Yeah, you can also find it on Google Podcasts, on Anchor, Radio Public, Breaker, or in Pocket Cast. So on each of these platforms, if you type the name On Her Own Terms, you will find our podcast. You can download the episodes offline or you can listen to them right away. And we release a new episode each Tuesday. So you can find a new episode there each Tuesday. And is there anything else that comes to your mind, Niki?
Yeah, and that I usually share the episodes on my Instagram through my bio. Always the newest Spotify link.
Mm-hmm.
So if it makes it easier for someone to find it if they want, I will be happy to help.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So you can also enter the podcast through the link of Niki's bio, or you can go to my bio and you will see I have the links there, and you can click there and you will see On Her Own Terms podcast, and there you can see it on Anchor and you can choose which platform you want to listen to it, or you can listen to it directly from that link. So either search On Her Own Terms on your favorite podcast platform, or go through the links in our bio and access the podcast from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe I feel like we should mention our Instagram handles, although like this is recorded on Instagram, but you never know where we share it. So I'm Hey, this is Niki on Instagram,
Yeah.
and Annie. How do people find you on Instagram?
Yeah. I am there as Any Hladikova. Any.Hladikova. We will put these links if you're watching it somewhere else than on Instagram, we will put the handles in the show notes, so you can find us and you can follow our work even more. Yeah. Did we want to?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, what was your favorite episode so far? Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, this is such a good one. Yeah, I wanted to ask you too, actually. My favorite episode was, I think, it's so hard to say. Like, I'm looking at them and like I love all of them, you know, because we always choose a topic that like goes through our life so strongly at the moment, and we also feel like this is a topic of the present in the world as well, you know. Which episode is your favorite? I will think about mine.
Yeah, I also have like struggles choosing. I know one of the first that is my favorite is like how to remove the energy of guilt, because I feel that is something that I had to learn in my life, and I feel like sometimes even I want to go there and listen to it again. And then, yeah, I feel like from the newest ones, I love the decluttering, and I also love the claim your mornings. Claim your mornings would be fun.
Yeah.
But I feel all of them, they are all different, and I like them all, and I love to see the progress. I like, it's like I want to keep them there forever. With the beginning ones, they are like they are like maybe a little bit less of a voice quality, and the animals are ever present. Because one day episode 11 is with no animal noises, I promise.
Finally.
I just love the progress, and I love how our thinking evolves, how our recording skills evolves, how our internet evolves for a better connection.
Yeah.
And I just love the whole process. I feel even a little bit selfish, because I have so much fun recording the episodes that, of course, I'm happy. I will be so happy if somebody once tells me how some episodes changed their life or they realize something. But I know, like, I definitely do it for myself as well. Because when we speak with Annie and we discuss some topic, I am the one, I mean, it's like, or we both are the ones that realize so much more about ourselves, about what we think about the topic. And I just hope it kind of helps also our listeners to figure out something for themselves. So yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever have a profound moment while listening to our episodes, please let us know. I will be so happy.
Yeah, please do. And absolutely, it's such a self-discovery process for our listeners and even for us. And I feel like everyone will take something different. So we share so many tips and tricks and what we do, what works for Niki, what works for me, which might be different time to time. And some of our listeners will resonate with this, or maybe some people will resonate with something I say. Some people will resonate with something Niki says, you know. And I feel like we all get the exact message that we need to hear, we get at the right time. So if you feel like pulled towards listening to our podcast, maybe like go there and intuitively choose an episode that really resonates with you at the moment, and you will find your answers there.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like what is true for us is like we believe that each person is different. And the task is really to get to know yourself, not to just blindly follow anybody else's teachings or what they think about the world, but to find your own way. And I hope this is what is like so clear from our podcast, and we try to mention it in every episode. Like, yes, these are our tools, and we are happy if you get inspired, but this is about you. This is about finding out who you are and what do you like, and that's how you make your life for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we don't tell you like you have to go and do this. What step 1 to step 10. No, we tell you like this works for us. Yeah. Yeah, but like we give you options, and we really trust that you will know what is the best for you, and we really want to encourage you to tap into your inner knowing most often and decide what is good for yourself, and like build your self-trust, build your intuition, build your inner voice, inner guidance. And yeah, we are just there to kind of like give you the hints and teach you how to tap into yourself more.
Yeah. And the more you listen to it, I mean the intuition, not just the podcast, but the more you listen to your intuition, the stronger it gets. So it's like, it's magic when you learn how to listen to the inner guidance. That's just profound. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. And gets stronger and stronger. Even though your inner critic says, oh, you shouldn't do it because of this. If you still go and trust yourself and listen to your intuition, then you will see the magic happening.
Yes. And then the life becomes magic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything more to share?
Yeah, I wanted to share my favorite episode, actually. I made up my mind. I think my favorite episode is Duality in Self-Development and how to manage your energy in personal growth. So me and Niki, as we said, we are coaches. We love to personally grow all the time and kind of, challenge our mindsets. Yeah, so this is the episode when we were like talking how to manage, actually like letting like, not push above ourselves, but how to still grow while still having the self-care that you need, like taking care of yourself, taking care of your health, even like taking care of your fun and joy. And so how to actually do it and grow in a good way and in a self-loving way.
Yeah, because it's,
yeah,
I think it may sometimes sound like life should be butterflies and flowers from now on, when you like you figure out something and then it's just like butterflies and flowers and all good feelings, but that's not really the truth. It is this, like, you feel the discomfort when you are finding out who you are, when you are trying to do something new, but it's like the good discomfort, and you also want to balance it with like self-love activities. So it can be good and bad at the same time. I wouldn't say bad, like good and also difficult at the same time. And I think this is what we talk about in that episode. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, and one more I wanted to mention, and I feel this message is throughout our whole podcast. We strongly believe that struggle is not required, and that our culture teaches us that, oh, we need to struggle to receive, and our life has to be so hard. And honestly, like, I see it everywhere around me, this pattern, and like, I just see it everywhere. And we really believe that struggle is not required, and you can do and overcome things with joy and pleasure and fun, and there's always a way how to do it in a more pleasant way than with the struggle and with suffering. And and we kind of share things how to do it.
Which one was this episode? I think it was the pushing versus allowing.
I think, well, it's like throughout all of our episodes, but most in the episode 10, pushing versus allowing, which is a great one. Or also how to stop complicating your life.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
And also like episode 3, when we said like about freedom and what it means to us, Such a good one also.
I love all of them. I'm very selfish in this. I love all of them.
Me too. And also the Claim Your Mornings episode. That's an episode when I'm talking about like how I think it's so important to have a morning routine, and Niki shares what she is doing in her mornings, which is like different than me. And we really share like it's different for everyone, and such a good inspiration. Yeah, so that's my favorite too. Like all of them, honestly. Yeah, so guys, go and check out our podcast if you haven't done so. We will still be sharing snippets on our social media when a new episode is out. So you can always check which topic we have discussed, and you can, again, search On Her Own Terms on your favorite podcast platform. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, and other podcasts. Or you can go to our profiles and you can click to the link in our bios, and you can click through and go to our podcast there. So we cannot wait for you to tell us how you liked our podcast. And also we wanted to ask you from the bottom of our heart, if you like our podcast, please share it with some people that you think that it might help too, and they might like it and it may benefit their lives. We would be so happy, because we really believe that We want to empower women in thinking in more freedom, and we really believe that this podcast is amazing, and there are some messages that need to get out there. So we would be so grateful if you can share this podcast with other people too.
Yeah. So thankful for any sharing. Definitely.
Yeah. Is there anything else, Niki, that we wanted to say?
I don't know.
That comes to your mind?
Comes to my mind. No, just like gratitude for us doing this together, and it's always fun and amazing. Gratitude for our listeners that they listen, and if you guys gonna share, let us know also if you get any aha moments from our podcast. Like, you can always DM us, message us on social media. So yeah, thank you for everything.
Yeah, thank you so much. I cannot wait to see when we will be with like an episode 100.
We will create a special for the episode 100.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and spending some time with us today. And we wish you to have a beautiful Sunday.
Yeah, beautiful Sunday. And go and have a look at our podcast.
Yes,
have a listen.
Please have a listen and let us know. Okay, sending you love. Bye.